All right. How's everyone doing? I'll wait a few minutes here. Let's see. All right, I'm going to turn down this. Man, first ever Coiled live. Really excited for this. Take two. Ethan, thanks for for sticking with us, man. Just gonna wait and see who pops on here. Really excited stuff I want to talk about today. Yeah, this going live stuff is no joke. It's no joke. So happy Thursday, getting ready for the weekend. What do we have over here? Look at this. Got some merch in. We're gonna do some fun stuff. Back again. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Now it's officially 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is exciting. So cool. All right, guys. Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody that's on here. Make sure you smash the thumbs up for us. This is a whole new experience for me, so it should be pretty interesting. Shout out to everybody that goes live, especially Garrett over at Reach Out Reptiles. I'm not gonna lie, I had this super elaborate setup in terms of my camera, microphone, everything like that, and it completely failed me. So really excited to see my quality go up over time. But the first main thing I wanted to talk about on this live is, I don't know how, but we've officially crossed 20,000 subscribers on this channel. So that's been it just has blown my mind. And to see the support and the comments and the messages has been just absolutely amazing. Thanks everybody for hopping on. Yeah, smash the like button for me. 20K subs and over 20 million views. That's correct, Ethan. And I think a lot of that, to be honest, has been due to my YouTube shorts. And, you know, I never want to become one of those viral YouTubers that put out a bunch of sensationalism to get clicks and views. But I will say the feeding videos do get quite a few views on the short side. And it's really kind of funny because there was one video in particular I think I have that has, I don't know, 15 million views, and it's Sarabi, my pure Kaiwati female, eating a pig, and everyone for some reason thinks that I'm feeding her a human being, and it's just like, you know, you kind of have to explain and let some of those comments go. But anyway, I wanted to do a really fun giveaway, so I wanted to do like a Coiled celebration surprise box to send out to a winner. So for the 20,000 subscriber giveaway, the stipulations are as follow. You have to be subscribed to us on YouTube, and you have to leave a comment below on this live video. So the big thing about YouTube and the algorithm, you never really know what's benefiting you or what's hurting you. But I'm really trying to increase the quality of my YouTube content so that you guys can get a better behind the scenes view of my take behind Coiled and what we're building, you know, over here. And so make sure you leave a comment too below, and you guys could be entered to win the Coiled celebration box, which I'm excited to put together. Got a ton of cool merch. So we've got, you know, obviously the hat stuff. Ran out of hats really fast. And, you know, we've got a bunch of shirts still and hoodies. So if you guys want, you know, a Coiled shirt or a Coiled hoodie, hit me up. But I would probably wait for the celebration box reveal before you look at purchasing one, just because there might be some cool stuff included in that. So um, really wanted to talk about the future of what we're doing. Right now, I've currently have 7 animals. I have 8 enclosures set up. So in the chat, if you guys want to give me some suggestions in terms of what kind of a male I should pick up, I have a lot of pure locality females, and I'm actually dropping a video tomorrow explaining a little bit more in depth of what I currently have and where I'm trying to go. But if you guys have some killer combo males or ideas, I have one enclosure I'm looking to fill in the next probably 3 months. So I have some ideas of a direction, but there's so many possibilities and there's so many ways to go in this industry. So I'm really excited to see what some other people do before I make some pretty big moves or investments. But at the same time, I'm also wanting to chase just some new stuff. We see a lot of these amazing morphs, and we see them in higher and higher percentages. And I just want to continue to add to the industry and push the industry forward, right? So once again, if you guys have suggestions, go ahead and let me know what kind of a male I should pick up, because I've got 2 females in the next year and a half, year and a half that should go. So I need to kind of get on top of what I'm going to do. I do have a pure male Coyote, so I can go that route on the Coyote side, but I really want to do some new stuff as well. So for everybody hopping on, we're doing a 20K subscriber giveaway, so make sure you leave a comment below and make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and you'll be entered to win a Coiled celebration box from me personally, which will be really, really fun. I got a few topics and questions that I think were great. The first one being, where did your passion for reptiles stem from? And I think that was a really cool question. When I was a kid, my mom, taught me to love and respect all animals, and I just fell in love with reptiles, as most young boys typically do. And ever since then, it's been an obsession. Now, in terms of going to school and growing up and going to college, sometimes I've had to get rid of some of my animals just due to my housing situations and different things there. But I think my biggest idol growing up was Steve Irwin. He was just an amazing individual, amazing human. And I just remember watching Croc Files on Animal Planet when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and everything kind of stemmed from that. So I'm really hoping to continue to educate, and it's really fun to see other people that aren't in the industry come to my house and check out these enclosures that I built, and they're like, wow, I'm at a zoo and this is so amazing. And then I get the opportunity to talk about super dwarf reticulated pythons, which is my favorite reptile / snake, and I think will always be that way. I grew up as a teenager. I caught garter snakes. I caught black racers down in Florida. I caught everything kind of under the sun outside that I could: box turtles, snapping turtles, you name it. And then for whatever reason, my parents never let me get a snake, but they let me get a bunch of leopard geckos, and so I had those for quite some time. I was into leopard gecko morphs back in the day. This is probably 15, 16 years ago, and to see that industry take off in terms of patterns and morphs and mutations has been absolutely insane. So at some point, I'd love to get some leopard geckos again, just for that reason alone. But I've had some corn snakes before. I've had family members have ball pythons before, but for whatever reason, reticulated pythons have always just intrigued me, because they seem so, number one, massive, because they are massive, but their personalities were just so unique. When I was in Florida, we used to go to Gatorland, and I had friends that had Burmese pythons, and I love Burmese pythons, and I love the dwarf Burmese pythons as well. But I think in terms of personality, reticulated pythons are unmatched, right? So anyway, that's a big reason why I wanted to get into retics, number one. But then number two, Super dwarf specifically, I got into that a couple years ago, just following Garrett, and was obsessed. Am obsessed, but was obsessed about getting my foot into the industry. At the time, I was married. I had a kid, or actually two kids at that time, and we were living in a small apartment. And it just wasn't feasible, and weren't allowed to have pets and all that kind of good stuff. And then about a year and a half ago, I was able to get into my own home, and I told my wife that I was getting snakes, and I was going to do this, and she was on board. As long as we were able to renovate the whole house first, which which we were able to do. Um, After that, I was like, hey, it's snake time, and I'm gonna do this right. That was my whole thing. Is I didn't want to come in, get one animal, and get a tiny little tub or something like that. It's like when I came in, I was gonna get, in my opinion, some of the best stuff out there. I was gonna get the best enclosures. I was gonna build them out myself, and just have that experience so that my kids could enjoy it and see kind of the progression and the journey as well. So. Um, yeah, the ocelot gene. Thanks, Christina, for chiming in. The ocelot gene is an amazing gene. I love that gene. There's a lot of people working with it. You've got Lucas over at Lab Exotics. You have Eric Lee working with that and bringing that into super dwarfs, and some other people as well. So I'm interested to know who hits that first. It's kind of a race to the finish, but really it's just the beginning in terms of bringing some of those recessive genes in. I love anthrax. I love hypo. I love Rennick Ghost, and some of these just need to be shrunk down. And so I'm hoping that I can be on the cutting edge of one of those projects, or hopefully multiple down the road when the time is right. And so in terms of direction right now, and I'll drop a video tomorrow. I'm actually planning on dropping a video tomorrow of just an update on my collection, so you guys can see how my animals have grown, and they're all doing very, very well. And I'm a new keeper, so I'm no expert in terms of retics, but I've tried to pull pages and information from multiple different breeders and be able to apply that to my setups, and go kind of the naturalistic route, which is great. So yeah, there's so many different morphs and mutations and ways you can go. I love the snow gene, and not to toot his horn too much, but Eric Lee has been just destroying that route in terms of the super dwarf side, and bringing multiple different codoms into snow. And that's another option too, is I've got a lot of these pure female locality animals that I currently own, and Eric's got these powerhouse crazy males, 5, 6, 7 gene combos that, in my opinion, aren't the prettiest animals out there. I think they look a little bit faded, but the thing is, in terms of being a breeding powerhouse, really, really interesting. And I definitely want to pick up a male, because I love the codom stuff. I love the Anery Motley Golden Childs. I love a normal Anery Tiger is absurd. I love some of these just more basic combinations, and if I can help push the percentages up on some of those, that would be a big goal of mine down the road, and be able to produce it. So just going into it with my mindset when I've started this thing is I want to buy animals that aesthetically I enjoy looking at, because I'm raising them, but more importantly, I'm buying the appropriate ingredients that I want, so that I can push I can push things forward in the industry, right? And not just making the same things over and over, but I'm increasing percentages and doing some really, really cool stuff there. In terms of just overall direction as a brand, it's been mind-boggling to me to see the support. I'm an entrepreneur. I've tried a ton of different businesses, ton of different side hustles, ideas. I've tried, I think, 2 or 3 other YouTube channels on different topics and different industries. And so to see the support behind me and everybody else, like being in such a close knit niche, right? Everybody backs each other for the most part. 99% of the people I feel like are awesome. And we've got a few outliers that, we don't need to talk about today, but it's been really neat to just see this enormous support. And I haven't ever experienced anything like that. And I've been doing social media marketing and been on social media for close to a decade now, or actually over a decade, but like 15 years now. And just to see the support has been crazy. So I can see the obsession, and I can see it in everybody else, because going into this I wanted to once again invest in the right ingredients. And this is really a passion thing for me. My kids absolutely love handling our hatchlings. We've got a 7-month-old pure Kalatoa F1 female from Lucas Bagnero over at Lab Exotics, and she's just the best snake ever, and she's going to be a perfect ambassador because my kids love handling her. And so that's a big piece to what I'm doing too, is I want to not only fuel my passion and be able to support my passion with building our brand, but I also want to share that with my kids and teach them, business lessons along the way, and help them see different passions in their own lives, right? So it's yeah, and so it's just been a really fun ride in just the last 5 months. I mean, we've only been really hitting this for 5-6 months, and the potential here is untapped in this industry. And so if you're building your brand, if you're building your name, just my biggest thing is just get involved as much as you can on the pages, on other people's profiles. I mean, I have kind of like I would say, what's the term, I have like a top 10, top 20 people that always like my stuff and are always super supportive. And so love you guys, especially because you're always right there in my corner and giving me words of encouragement. So that's been really fun. um, in terms of like merch and future and Patreon stuff. And I really would like to do something to kind of bring the Coiled crew together in the future, and be able to learn from all of you and get feedback. I do see a Patreon setup slash Discord setup in the future, but I want to do that right as well. I don't want to rush it, and I want to take a different angle than other people have. I think the big thing, the biggest need right now in the super dwarf industry, not just in terms of animals, but I'm just talking pure business, is people don't really understand how to market themselves or market their animals or their business properly. It's a big need right now, and I think it will be for the next 3 to 5 years. And so I think the direction I'd like to go with a Patreon slash Discord is more business oriented, and how to get your name out there, how to really display your animals in the best light possible, and be able to put yourself in a position for success. If you're looking to breed, you need to be known. If and that's kind of my motto, is if people love me or hate me for what I do or how I do it, at least they're gonna know who I am. And so I try to be as consistent as possible with some of that. And so anyway, that's kind of my idea for right now on a Patreon kind of setup. Is I want to really bring value, and I really want to do videos and content that helps people build a reptile business, right? Because it is important, and some people are able to do it full time. And I mean, that's beyond a dream for me. I would love to do that, even though I do have some other ventures that I'm pretty heavily involved in. So anyway, I mean, feel free to give me feedback on that. I really want to know what people need in the super dwarf space, right? And so that's been just interesting talking to people. And shout out to Nathan Katz and Lucas Bagnera. They just started their new podcast, um, the Retic Lounge, on YouTube, and they've got a Patreon. And I think they're bringing some tremendous value to new keepers like myself that are still new to this but love it and are passionate about it and just want to continue to learn how to house these incredible animals and keep them healthy and happy. And unfortunately, there's some negativity and toxicity in the space where there's not a margin for people to mess up or to ask questions, and I don't really agree with that. We're all learning together, and just because you've been doing something for 25 to 30 years doesn't mean you've been doing it right for 25 to 30 years. And that goes for all industries, all business owners everywhere. I've had my experiences, right? So if you're not willing to change or open to criticism, then you're probably stuck in your ways, right? But yeah, overall, I'm really really excited for some of the content we have. We've got a bunch of unreleased content that we haven't put out yet, and I'm the one that's kind of doing everything right now and doing social media and videos. I did have a videographer come out with me to Retic Fest back in July, and so we got a bunch of behind the scenes footage over at Garrett's place at Reach Out Reptiles. So we've got a ton of that footage coming, which I think you guys will really love. And overall, it's just been once again an amazing experience to get to know everybody in this space, and I'm hoping to just be a positive light and bring really high value for individuals that are looking to grow their business. And if you're not looking to breed, and if you're not looking to go that route, at least be able to really enjoy your animals and set them up for success. And I once again, from experience, I went above and beyond. So just a shout out to Mark over at Jungle Cages. He does an incredible job with these enclosures. He not only does he use ABS plastic over PVC, but he welds all these enclosures together, and so there's no leaking. The glass is amazing in terms of like the sliding doors. There's not any cracks for pushing, so I haven't had any animals push and get their snouts damaged or anything like that. Universal Rocks is next level as well, and so I went through them for all my um, naturalistic stuff inside the enclosures, and I put that all together. And once again, it's a beast. It's a beast to keep up with all this. But I'm passionate about not just having my animals, but sharing those experiences with each and every one of you. So we'll see what the future has in store for us. And I'll tell you what, I cannot wait for that first clutch. I just get so pumped up about being able to produce some stuff and be able to continue to add to the industry. And I think somebody asked in the chat about pure locality stuff. Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of pure Kalatoa breeders out there doing that, and the Travis Kubis line in Kalatoa line is amazing. That just how silver they are. I love Coyotes, even though they're not small. They're not going to be small. My female's probably gonna end up being between 11 and 13 feet at full size. But the coloration and the color saturation on Coyotes in my experience is just amazing. If you find a really good Coyote like my female, just golden and silver and black, and I mean it's unreal. So I would love to pair them up at the same time. Once again, I kind of have some other thoughts in terms of breedings and what I could do with her specifically. I have a pure super dwarf produced by Daniel Solis, and she's 2 years old as well. But the size difference in terms of the Coyote and my pure super dwarf is crazy. My pure super dwarf, unknown locality, is about 2.5 feet shorter than my Coyote female, and the girth as well. I mean, she's teeny tiny, but both of them are slamming pigs. Both of them are slamming pigs, and so they're both growing. But let me go over to the chat really quick because we've got a ton of good stuff on here, and I haven't been able to really address any of this. So, in terms of enclosures, so Mark over at Jungle Cages, it was only like for my 8 enclosures. Now my enclosures are 4 feet by 30 inches deep by 22 inches tall. I think it was only about a 6 week wait. So that was a really quick turnaround time. I know there's some PVC companies out there that are, 8, 9, 10 months out, which I think is just absurd. Um, in terms of Rennet Ghost is amazing. Sean over at Legacy Retics is doing genetic stripe, which that stuff is going to be really, really cool in Super Dwarf. Um, you know, in terms of being on the Retic Lounge, that's a great question. I've had a few requests. I don't know if Lucas and Nathan want me on there. I'm a talker. I can talk for a while, but it would be fun. And so go over and tell Lucas that to bring me on. That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, and just kind of a breakdown in terms of my animals. I have 7 animals, like I said. I got 4 from Reach Out Reptiles, 1 from Lucas, 1 from Justin Lathrop, who is kind of just like a one-off breeder, and I did an interview with him, and I'll tell you a little bit about that here in a second. And then I have 1 from Daniel Solis, so I kind of have a mix, but I'll definitely be getting a pickup from Eric Lee at some point. And then my Coyote female is probably going to be the first one that needs a larger enclosure when the time comes, and so we'll play some musical chairs, so to speak. But what's really interesting is, and I'm handing out golden nuggets on this first live. I'm a little bit nervous. Hopefully you guys can't tell, but it's I guess this is a good time to just talk about different things and in possibilities and all that kind of good stuff. But so Justin Lathrop got 2 pos het, scaleless head animals from Garrett, and there's actually a video on Reach Out Reptiles channel talking about that deal that went down, I think 2 or 3 years ago. And so he took that male to a female het anery and produced 1 snow and a bunch of purple albino stuff, and high percentage anery, het anery stuff, which was awesome, amazing clutch. So the cool thing about that though is I have an amazing purple snow. Is the only snow from that clutch. I had to beg and pry that animal from Justin. He told me no a million times, and luckily I have a good relationship with Justin. He's an amazing guy, and he actually drove that snow female out to me, and that was a really cool experience. I mean, he just loves and cares about his animals so much. But the cool thing about that purple snow female is she is pos het scaleless, so I'm officially looped into that project. If you kind of support that or not, I mean, it's kind of a crazy thing if it does pan out. And if it doesn't pan out, then I still have an amazing purple snow female. But it is kind of cool to be part of that project, because I watched that video when it dropped 3 years ago with Justin, and then now I'm involved, now I'm in it. So we'll see if that ends up proving out. And he's gonna beat me to it. Obviously, he kept the rest of that clutch and is going to try to prove it out as well. I think this year that female's finally up to size, so he's going to be able to match those het scaleless or pos het scaleless and see if it's anything legitimate. So will be fun to see. But we got some other questions here in terms of substrate. So I use Reptile Prime for substrate. That has worked out great. Now there's some people that love using paper. There's people that love using cocoa blocks and some of those other some of those just those other substrates. In my opinion, I love Reptile Prime. People are like, well, it's messy, and I'm like, well, your snakes make a mess anyway. You're gonna end up cleaning up, around their cages and whatever. But it does mitigate the smell significantly. Like I can almost, I can tell when my animals have made a mess, so to speak, but it's not overpowering where I've been in some snake rooms where they use paper and, urine and poo smells terrible. And if that's all you have down, but some people it's great because they're OCD about their cleaning. I'm also OCD about keeping my enclosures clean too. Now, I will say this was on the last episode. I still have to comment on the Retic Lounge's last episode from, I think it was last week. They talk about enclosures, and Lucas mentioned my setup and having the naturalistic rock and keeping it clean and all that stuff. What's interesting about Retics, what I've found is a lot of them stay in the same habit or spot for where they could use the bathroom, and most of the time it's not up on a ledge, it's not on the wall, it's usually on the substrate. Now, when they do make a mess on the side of the wall, or there's some remnants left, then yeah, it is a little bit of a pain. Taking the scrub brush out and some disinfectant and stuff like that, and really really getting in there and cleaning it. But for me, it's the trade off for the enrichment, and the animals are also able to use it for all kinds of stuff. They've got all their own ledges, right? They've got some texture there they can use to help shed. All my animals shed very very well. I don't have any broken sheds, so that substrate kind of helps. I don't wet down the substrate. Some people like to. I think it's overkill. If you have a really big water bowl, and I live in Utah, so it's fairly dry here, but it keeps the humidity in really really well. And so that's just been my experience. And it's going to be, as I grow and as we breed and have more animals, and I'm going to have to decide how to proceed and how we're wanting to scale and do those different things. But the aesthetic part of it is absolutely over the top and amazing. And it's in my office, so I work from home and I'm able to look at all my animals, look at my setups every single day. And so that's an amazing thing for me that I wouldn't trade for, right? So it really just kind of depends on what floats your boat at the end of the day, and what you're looking for in your setups and enclosures. I've seen some really amazing, just clean enclosures, and with a shelf, and it's pretty bare bones, but they got a nice LED light in there, and a water bowl and a hide, and it looks really kind of modern and clean. I think that setup's pretty cool too. And it's tough for me because I want to be able to keep the quality while also continuing to expand. And so I might have, the nice thing about working with Mark over at Jungle Cages is he's able to customize and build almost anything you want. So I'm even thinking about something next level for hatchlings or juveniles, where, if it's I don't know, a 2x1 or something like that, and there's, instead of having tubs, I just have a wall of mini enclosures set up with some substrate, and and I can make it look really good with the lighting and everything, and it's maybe a swing doors or something, sliding mini doors. I don't know. I just kind of brainstorming because I will in a couple of years have a lot more animals. So we'll kind of see. I like thinking about that kind of stuff. Right now I'm in the moment enjoying my animals, and it's been a really cool learning experience, and my kids love it. I mean, that's the joy on their faces coming into the reptile room or the snake room, aka my office. Nothing beats it. They love feeding, they love cleaning, and so I make them work. Little do they know I'm training them to take over those roles, hopefully in the next 3 to 5 years as things grow. I'll need a barn like Sean over at Legacy Retics at some point. So anyway, it's exciting, and once again, this is all a process. And I think wherever you're at with your collection, and I've learned this just in life and with my other businesses, is you have to enjoy the moment. You got to live in the moment, enjoy your animals. If you want to breed them, great. But as we know, this isn't a get rich quick scheme. You have to raise your animals right and take care of them and have those experiences with them so that there's some of that mutual trust there. And I've just seen the more you put into them, the more you get out of them, right? So anyway, well, I wanted to kind of keep these, at least this first one, somewhat short. I want to take out some animals next time, and this has been a great learning experience. I can talk forever, so to speak, but once again, we're doing a giveaway. This is my last plug for it, but we're doing our 20,000 subscriber giveaway. 2 stipulations is you got to be subscribed to us on YouTube, and you got to leave a comment below, and we'll go ahead and pick a random winner in this next week. But we also have new video dropping tomorrow, so we'll be giving you a behind the scenes look at our different animals and just an update of how all of them are doing and growing. But once again, I want to hear everyone's feedback on different things you want to talk about, topics, questions for me. It can be anything, right? So I appreciate our Coiled crew. It's been so fun these last 5 months to go from nothing to something, and ultimately to everything. When in 5, 10, 15 years, not only do we have an amazing community here, but we've built each other up and brought value to one another, and it's been really, really fun to get to know all of you and your stories and your animals and your setups and your goals as well. I mean, I've gotten to know a lot of you, on a personal level too, with your families. So once again, appreciate our Coiled crew. First live is in the books. So hopefully next time it's a little bit better setup. I'm not Thomas over at Reach Out Reptiles, even though he does mess up their lives quite a bit. I'm hoping to have even a better setup and continue to progress with the community here, right? So it's been a riot. It's been fun, guys. Appreciate y'all. Give us a thumbs up, comment below. We'll announce a winner next week for our 20K giveaway. So hope everybody has a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Everybody down in Florida and the southeast area, stay safe. It's crazy out there, and I've personally lived in Florida for a couple of years, and so I know how it can get. So many prayers for you guys, and we'll chat soon. I'm thinking about every week's a little much, I'll be honest with you, but maybe every 2 weeks or so. But appreciate you guys. Much love, Coiled crew. We'll chat soon.